Hello, greetings from Training and Development Leadership Team. Really excited to be able to talk to you today a little bit about Associate Engagement Survey. We are entering our Associate Engagement Survey season, and we have chosen a new format for the survey to be developed and results to come in. And I'm going to share with you today that survey, but a couple of things I'm going to talk to you about first are the purpose of the survey, our survey goals and processes, and the partnership that we've developed to bring you the survey. One thing to remember as we're entering into this is that it's not just another survey, it's part of a strategy to make our organization a better place to work. This survey is one step in the process to help our organization understand how employees feel about the workplace. But more holistically, the program is going to focus on how you as leaders can create a successful work environment for your teams so you can positively affect performance. The dimensions of the associate engagement are measured by the survey are critical, since they provide insights into the needs of our employees and help identify where additional clarity or focus is going to be needed. The data collected provides insights into creating an engaged culture using 12 items. 3 additional items will also focus on your ability to integrate strength-based culture into our work environment. The questions in general are short, they're simple, and they're stated in such a way that each item can be acted upon and approved at the team level. So in addition, you can also uncover and address broader strategic barriers and patterns within that data. So with Gallup's help, that's who we've partnered with for this. It's called the Q12 survey. Our organization will integrate the results from the survey with our other business measurements to truly model the business outcomes that we want. Some of the survey's goals and processes are ultimately starting with the first one. Participation is vital to the success of the employee engagement program. Employee engagement is vital to the way you operate your teams. Participation helps gain buy-in from each employee, and Gallup conducts research using census-based employee participation, meaning that the more employees that participate, the more accurate the results. And in short, each person's voice matters in assessing the engagement of the organization. Employees take ownership of their engagement within the organization, and every employee plays a role in analyzing what these results mean, determining what to do with them, and making sure that these plans turn into action. The first part of it will be that your work groups will discuss the results, understand the issues, and identify concrete actions that the team can take to address priority issues. The next step would be for your individual work groups to identify issues that need to be rolled up to the next level in the organization for action. And finally, your work groups, your individual departments, following up on action plans to ensure that they're implemented. So you have to remember through this whole process that employees drive change and improvement within our organization, making it a better working environment for everyone. So our partnership and their commitment to this process is with Gallup. And Gallup is an independent consulting firm known for its leadership and understanding public opinion. Gallup is more than 40 years of polling experience within the public and the corporate worlds. Through its research, it's helped organizations create change to positively affect employees and ultimately customers. Employees should understand that their responses will be protected, allowing them to give honest feedback. So Gallup maintains high standards of confidentiality by rolling individual responses into workgroup results and then adhering to strict standards regarding who can see the individual responses. So Gallup's a member of the Council of American Survey Research Organizations, and it adheres to its strict standards of professional conduct. So some of our survey details this year is our employee engagement survey will run from September 17th to September 21st. The survey will be available via email. The email addresses that it will be sent to are the ones that your employees registered within the Landrum HR portal. So it will be directly sent to your individual employees. They will be provided with survey details, including instructions on how to access it and how to participate in the survey as well. If anybody has any issues accessing it, we will have access links available here, as well as access codes. You will want to contact Shannon Alderson for that information. We are here and available to you, either rolling out the messages that I'm going over today to your teams if you need assistance in that arena. Shannon and I will be available to you to help and assist in that in this attempt to make sure that they have the right information before the survey is launched. If you have any questions about some of the things I'm going over, reach out to me directly as well, and I will try and answer all of those as best as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and go through our associate engagement survey questions, and I'm going to give you some information about each question, kind of what is this question looking for specifically, what are we trying to get from it, how should you define it to your staff as well so they understand it clearly. That definition should happen prior to the survey being launched. So the first question is, I know what is expected of me at work. So Gallup's research shows that many great workplaces have defined the right outcomes. They set goals for their teams. They work with them to set their own goals for those individuals. They don't just define the job, but they define what success on the job is. So for your teams to be aware of their expectations, they should have a way to rank, rate, count, or as many as the desired outcomes as possible. These measures of performance should fit in with what the rest of our organization is saying and doing. That's what this question means. The second question is I have materials and equipment. I have the materials and equipment I need to do my work. Right. I have the materials and equipment I need to do my work right. Based on Gallup's extensive research, great managers find out what people need in the way of materials and equipment. A great way for work groups to increase the responsiveness to this question is to determine what materials and equipment means to them. So sometimes they're referring to accessibility of information rather than specifically materials and equipment. But you need to make sure that this responsibility is on your work groups, that they know to ask when they need the correct materials and equipment, and do they know those avenues? So this question is helping you kind of clearly define that you've set up those channels for them. The third question is, at work, I have the opportunity to do what I do best every day. For this item, it's important to keep in mind each group member's talents. So to build relationships and to help identify their unique talents, it's vital that every individual understands his or her strengths or weaknesses. And a good way of promoting this is to discuss what each person believes his or her leading strengths are in terms of skills and knowledge and innate talents. Writing the strengths down often helps in that area. Hopefully you've already been rolling this type of concept out to your teams, as you should have been through the summer. The fourth question is, in the last 7 days, I have received recognition or praise for doing good work. Workplaces that excel in this question rely on forms of recognition that are specific, predictable, frequent, and instantaneous. They are known to promote a recognition-rich environment, with praise coming from every direction, with everyone knowing how others like to be recognized. So a lot of people wonder how often people like to be praised, but a good rule of thumb is about once a week. I'm going to explain to you why. Whenever a person does something, there are consequences. Those consequences will affect whether your team members or your team engage in that behavior again. We know that to get results or consequences we want, frequent praise can encourage the behavior that produces it. The fifth question is, my supervisor or someone at work seems to care about me as a person. What you need to remember with this question is that people leave managers, not companies. A productive workplace is one where people feel safe enough to experiment, to challenge, and to share information. to support each other, where their teams are prepared to give you as a leader and our organization the benefit of the doubt. And none of that can happen if people do not feel cared about. Relationships are the glue that holds our great organization together. The sixth question is, there is someone at work who encourages my development. This one's important to me. In this case, development does not mean getting people promoted. It does mean that each team member or associate gets what he or she wants. It means helping individuals find roles that fit their natural strengths and their unique combination of skills, knowledge, and talent. Previous Gallup findings have concluded that work groups that receive high scores in this particular item do not try to put in what was left out, but rather try to draw out what was left in. They provide constant feedback and they have creative developmental opportunities for each other. The seventh question is, at work, my opinion seems to count. Work groups who give high scores on this item may feel they have access to channels of communication across different levels of the organization or divisions of the organization, and that their managers work to maintain those channels. Groups do not function very well when their team members feel insignificant or irrelevant. So managers should ask your teams for their opinions and include their ideas in decision-making processes whenever possible. This means everyone should have a chance to express his or her ideas. The eighth question is, the mission or purpose of my company makes me feel my job is important. This question measures a key source of motivation for work groups, the idea that the organization represents values that they themselves share. So effective workplace cultures cultivate the feeling. They cultivate that feeling of shared values. They cultivate the ability to include providing consistent clarification of the overall mission of the organization, as well as the ways in which each individual team member contributes to the achievement of that mission. As human beings, we feel as though we belong. We like to feel as though we belong. Individual achievement is great, but we're likely to stay committed longer if we feel like we're part of something bigger than ourselves. The ninth question is, my associates or fellow employees are committed to doing quality work. So teams that scored well on this question tend to be good at providing clear quality standards and keeping those standards at the forefront of each other's minds. So your teams are capable of accurately evaluating their own performance as well as that of their teammates. Clear communication of standards enhances accountability and builds trust among your coworkers. We also know that not everyone will see quality in the same way if everyone's concept of the word is different. So to fix that, you have to have a clear definition. And the best place to start is with your customers, both internally and externally. So hopefully you have clarified that for them. If not, that question will gauge where you need to work on. The 10th question is, I have a best friend at work. I have a best friend at work really is a proxy for trust. So we're interested only in whether that person at work is who you would consider a best friend. So think about the people whom you would consider best friends. People with whom you share values, who you can trust, who are watching out for you. You are going to feel more confident in making decisions, taking risks, being more productive because you don't have to spend a lot of time watching your back. Chances are you're going to feel like there's more open communication within your team if you feel strongly on this question. The 11th question is, in the last 6 months, someone at work has talked to me about my progress. One of Gallup's most consistent research findings is that feedback improves performance. High scoring groups establish structured feedback processes for your teams. which include clearly defined goals, achievement levels, and then meeting regularly with each of your team members or groups to track your progress towards those goals. So we realize that all feedback, we all need feedback to know how far we've come. We also need signs to track our progress. So the 12th question is, in the last year, I have had the opportunities to work to learn and grow. In the last year, I've had the opportunities at work to learn and grow. Engaged work groups need to feel that their job contributes in some way to their professional or personal development. Great workplaces are those in each of our teams where we have provided educational opportunities that address their development. This may include formal classes or simply finding new experiences for them to take on. Each team member or associate will define opportunities differently. And for some teams, this may mean training classes and seminars. For others, this may mean promotions and increased opportunities. And for others, this may be working on special projects and assignments. So that's a little hint into our 12 questions. The 3 additional questions are to gauge our strength-based culture. And those questions are, in the last 3 months, my supervisor and I have had meaningful discussions about my strengths. The second question is, every week, I set goals and expectations based on my strengths. And the third question is, my company is committed to building the strengths of each associate. What these questions are going to do is to help us gauge how well you are instituting this strength-based communication and culture into your individual teams. It's very important to us as an organization that we change the way that we're communicating and operating. We need to become better operators in recognizing how well our staff is doing, identifying succession plans and development opportunities, and preparing ourselves for the future of growth that I all know that you know is coming down the pipeline. So very excited to have associate engagement survey coming up. If you need any clarification about the information that I've gone over, I'm hoping that this video helps give you some insight and prepares you for these surveys, so that way you can go out there and share this information and communicate with your teams and prepare them for the surveys as well. Because in all reality, your opinion, their opinion, everyone's opinion matters into how strategically we are going to grow and develop our company. And viable, workable insights that we're going to gain from this is going to be important. Once we get the survey results in, human resources and our executive team will be going through the results. After that time period, you will be given the results of the survey to start integrating into creating action plans for your teams, or integrating into your current strategic plans and evolving those slightly to include the items that we may need to focus on directly. I hope that this brings you information, and certainly, again, if you have any questions, reach out to us, Shannon or myself, via email or telephone. Love to hear from you. Good luck with the employee engagement survey. I'm very excited. I hope you are too. It's going to be an awesome time with some great information. Have a great day.